It's always great to learn about stories of the past and how we went from moving slow to moving so darn fast. Sit back and relax and learn something you didn't know. Here's a little history from the Mo.
Welcome back to the Mo, everybody. So today we're going to be looking at portraits and a very special self-portrait of Lynn Riggs. So we have 3 great portraits of Lynn in our collection here. I wish we had more space to show them off. We're just really running out of room here, like most museums. This one is really fascinating. It's by Marion Greenwood. Her and Lynn were friends. I don't know when they met. We don't have any correspondence between them, but they were both in Mexico and New York City quite a lot. So we also don't have a date for this portrait of Lynn, but we can definitely tell that that's Marion's signature right there, and it's an outstanding portrait of Lynn. So we're really proud to have this one in the collection. Marion Greenwood was born on April 6 of 1909 and passed away on August 20th of 1970. She was an American social realist artist who became popular starting in the 1920s and became renowned in both the United States and Mexico. She is most well known for her powerful murals, but she also practiced easel painting, printmaking, and frescoes. All right, here's another great portrait of Lynn Riggs. So if you notice here, behind Lynn, as he sits here in a stool with his pen, there's several articles, maps, all kinds of things posted here. One of my favorite details that this artist, Willie Casso, left for us to see is this beautiful little cutout of this island. Can everyone see this right up here? So if you look right there in that circle, it says shelter. So this is a map that used to hang in the Lynn Riggs Memorial here of Shelter Island, where Lynn built the house at and lived right off of St. Mary's Road. We have a wonderful picture in our collection of when Shirley Jones came to the Lynn Riggs Memorial and met with the family and donated the surrey and her dress from the film. And right behind her and the family hangs this portrait. So we're really fortunate to have it in the collection. One day, we'd hope to loan this out to maybe the state capitol or the Oklahoma Hall of Fame. It really needs some conservation as well, so maybe one day we can have some of that work done. William Oscar Casso was known as Bill or Willie, was a professional artist his whole life. He usually signed his paintings with his last name Casso. Though not much publicized, he was a fairly prolific artist and was much loved by his friends and patrons. He did not like working with dealers and sold most of his work by word of mouth. He was written up in local newspapers for his artistic talents when he was in high school. He had a full ride to Syracuse University based on his artistic talents. He was born in 1915, grew up in New York. He was a good friend of Lynn Riggs when he was in New York, and we're really fortunate to have this painting here in our collection. This is my favorite artifact in our entire collection. So this is the self-portrait here of Lynn Riggs. And thanks so much to the Cherokee Nation for sponsoring our Beyond Realism exhibit and some of the research that went into that. I got to take a week trip up to New Haven, Connecticut, and do a lot of great research at the Beinecke. I was probably there 12 hours a day. Thanks to all the great research I got to do out at the Beinecke, I found out while looking at the Lynn Riggs papers that the setting of this painting is actually Lynn's home on Shelter Island. How in the world do we know that? So Lynn was so meticulous about rebuilding the interior and the exterior of this home that he wrote out who was going to be staying in what room, the colors of the wallpaper, the colors of the ceiling. So we really found some great detail there in those archives. And Mexican pink was the color that he chose for the kitchen. So that's how we really know exactly where this is. One of the neatest photos that we have in our collection here shows Lynn in his New York City apartment off Christopher Street, posing in front of his self-portrait where he's cutting flowers here. So if you notice, this one has great detail, fantastic photograph. I wish we knew who took that one. We have another one with glasses on that gives us a little bit more detail of how he had his living room set up. Again, these are just fantastic photos. Thanks again for tuning into our show here at the Mo.